I talk a lot about my hometown. I live in a small town in the foothills of Mount Rainier, and this is where I got started and fell in love with photography, and this is where I've grown my business as a photographer. It can be challenging at times. There is a lot of photographers in my town, a lot of people who get paid to take photos. These folks oftentimes offer inexpensive rates and a ton of photos per shoot. I've seen people get a half-hour shoot, you get 50 photos, and I'm not exaggerating. I literally have had other photographers near me offer 50 photos for a half-hour shoot. There's not a ton of customers in a town like mine. I've dabbled in portraits, I've dabbled in landscapes, I've dabbled in mini sessions, and there are challenges to all of them. For instance, landscapes. Like I said, I live in a small town in the foothills of Mount Rainier, so we have the mountain as a subject all the time. But there's only so many angles of the mountain you could take photos of. There's only so many things you could put in the foreground. It's hard to make yourself stand out and be unique. Not impossible, but it is challenging. I've been pursuing photography for 3 or so years now. I used to think it was near impossible to grow and become a paid photographer in a town or environment like we have here. Over that 3 years though, my perspective has changed pretty considerably. Today I want to go over what I've done and potentially what you could do if you like what I have to say to grow as a photographer in a small town. Now, the first thing I did, the first step I took was to expand my knowledge, develop my skill in photography. I would take photos of anything and everything all day, every day. Now, living where I live, it rains all the time. It's raining right now. It's just gray and rainy for a large percentage of the year. Knowing this, I decided to get into studio photography early on. So I ordered a strobe, I ordered an on-camera flash, and I learned how to use them. That did a lot of things for me. The first thing it did was it taught me a ton about my camera, it taught me a ton about the exposure triangle, and it allowed me to shoot even when it was nasty outside and no one wanted to be out there for a shoot. The other thing I did was I went online, and I knew that I needed to shoot and shoot often. I knew that I needed to shoot things that people wanted photos of. So I joined a bunch of groups on Facebook. Local business groups, local school groups for sporting events, the local chamber of commerce, the local city hall, anywhere and anything that would be going on in town where there would be groups of people I wanted to be involved in. So I just found those groups online and I joined them. Soon I found myself photographing a lot of things, car shows, sporting events. I've twice now photographed the high school graduation, business grand openings, parades, anywhere where there was a group of people gathering, anywhere close to me, I was there with my camera taking photographs. One of my favorite things to do was on the weekend, I would just walk around my town and ask people if I could take their portrait. And yes, there were times people told me no. So I'm a photographer and I'm trying to get pictures of people with their cars. Are you interested at all? Get a picture of you in front of your car?
No, I've got plenty actually.
All right, I just thought I'd check. That's something you have to learn how to deal with. You have to learn how to be told no, because if you want to take pictures of people, you have to ask them. And if you have to ask them, some of them are going to say no. So you live in a small town and you're shooting all the time. So let's talk about when you're ready to actually take that step and become a business. So if you're in a crowded marketplace, as I am, you have to find a way to stand out from the pack. So there's a couple things I've noticed over the years. Like anything, you need to really learn the fundamentals. What is ISO? When can you use it to your advantage, and when can it become a problem? What is shutter speed? When can you use it to your advantage, and when can it become a problem? What is f-stop? When can you use that to your advantage, and when can that become a problem? What is the difference between f-stop and aperture? I bet a lot of you don't know that one out there. You need to become an expert when it comes to these things. You need to be an expert when it comes to using your camera. Another thing I recommend knowing is art. I love art. I study everything from painting to writing to photography to digital art. I love learning about how to use drawing tablets and how to use Photoshop and how these phenomenal digital artists can just take these elements and make a beautiful photo. Doing this allows you to understand things like composition and light. I also recommend finding artists who inspire you. There is a lot of photographers who inspire me. Peter McKinnon, Brian Burks, Platon. These are all people that have had a significant impact on my work, and I've tried to create similar pieces to what they create. They've inspired me. And usually that starts with saying, hey, look at this photo they took. Can I do something like that? And then I would set out to try to do something like that. The other thing that's helped me over time is I offer a wide range of services, and I actually offer a wide range of photography. I'll do everything from landscapes to portraits to cars. I love photography in general. And if I can, draw up a composition in my mind and I got my camera with me, I'm gonna take that shot. So it doesn't matter what it is. And I know some people don't agree with that. Some people think you should niche down. And I guess to an extent I don't do weddings. I'll take photographs of family and kids. It's not my favorite thing to do, but I do have fun on those shoots, and I'll do them if I could fit them in. I love the area I live in. I'm constantly going up to the mountains and constantly taking photos. And people buy prints and digital downloads of all these different kinds of photos that I take. The main thing that people book me for in regards to sessions is generally cars or like car portraits, somebody with their car. That's what I most get booked for. But I do stand by having a wide range of things you do take photos of. And I really think that offering prints was a game changer for me. So much so that I got my own printer. But even before that, on my website, I would have photo albums. So I would go shoot a car show, and I would put the date and the name of the car show up on the photo album and share that all around social media, especially in those groups you join where people who are involved in that car show are going to be online talking about it. And then, you can go through that website and find a photo. Maybe I got a photo of your car, and then you can click on that photo, and then it'll pop up if you want a digital download, if you want a coffee mug with that photo on it, if you want to print, be it on a canvas or, online print store that I used at the time had everything from like those metal tin prints to canvas wraps to actual posters you can just, put up with thumbtacks if you want to. But having that option is what really let me know that people were willing to pay for my photos. I'd log in 2 days after the car show, after I shared that link, and I would have, $600 worth of purchases from that one car show. And I'm like, hey, this is actually something here. I can make I can make this into a career. That led me to getting my printer and then, growing my business in that direction because I realized there's a demand for it. But if I wasn't grinding, if I wasn't putting in that legwork, if I wasn't networking and putting myself out there day after day after day, at event after event after event, I never would have even seen this as a viable career opportunity. The last thing I want to touch on is carrying yourself as a professional. What do I mean by that? It comes across in everything you do. How promptly you reply to messages online, how promptly you reply to emails online, phone calls. Professionals have professional agreements that are drawn up by attorneys, not something you downloaded online. Professionals have their payment terms worked out and they stand by them. Professionals know locations. Professionals know how to pose. Professionals act in a professional manner. It's in everything you do. I know exactly when my deposits are due. I know exactly how those customers can pay. From front to back, from the time they reach out and contact me, I try. I'm not always successful, but I'm always trying to carry myself in a professional manner. Every now and then I mess up on something. We're all human, but you should aspire to be professional in every single facet if you're operating this business. If you're looking to turn your hobby into a business, I suggest before you make that step, you make sure you have everything in place to present yourself in a professional manner. Thanks for watching. I hope this helped you. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Please like the video. Feel free to share it around, and we'll catch you next time.